Hey, what is up, guys? Back for another locals video. This would be the third video in the series. So gonna get straight into it. So round 1 of locals, I'm against K9 Crystron. He wins the die roll and goes first, so he starts with the inclusion. So he's gonna grab I think he grabs Sulfador here, but he's just checking what he can grab. So yeah, he grabs the Sulfador. This is one of the better cards in the deck. So he activates it targeting the inclusion. I believe I'm just double checking, but I believe I let this through. I don't believe I actually have any responses here. I do have a Foolos, and he does not have an Ash, I believe. I also chain the K9 here as well, the Izuna. So this will make it a little bit harder for him, but not by much. So I send the Lupus here, and I then immediately activate the Lupus. And he sends the Thistvern and the Sulfifnir to the graveyard. So the Thistvern will be able to banish itself from the graveyard to add any Crystron monster. He also activates his own Izuna here. Kind of a mirror to last week, except he activated the Izuna first last week, and I'm activating it first this week. So now I'm activating Lupus to Quick Xyz. I go for Ripper just because it can negate a hand or graveyard effect. He attempts to activate Lupus. I negate the Lupus. He activates Lantern to summon back the Lupus anyway. And then uses the Lantern to grab Case for K9. He banishes the Thistvern, so he's going to grab the Smyger here. So he uses the Sulfador to send the Smyger to special summon itself, then destroy itself, which will allow it to then summon Tristeros. The Smyger will be able to banish itself to grab any Crystron spell or trap from the deck. So he's just checking his plays. He knows that I'm on Cyber Dragon. We've played a bunch of times before, so he's considering how to approach this board at the moment. So he banishes the Smyger so that he can get an... I believe he just goes straight for Cluster this time because he already activated the inclusion. So that's a very powerful piece of disruption. He synchros for Elaskeltus, so that allows him to grab a Crystron back from Grave or Banishment. So he's just pondering over what he does here. I believe he is going to get the Tristeros back because it's a very powerful card. But he could get back any of them. So he gets back the Smyger. He sets a very innocuous card and activates Case for K9 to search for a new Izuna, I believe. No, for a Jokul. He sets 2 back row and he passes. So one of these is the Cluster. So he's basically just walling up because he knows that my deck is very strong into a machine board. So he's basically walled up so that he can go for game the next turn because he has a lot of follow-up. So I'm just pondering what I do. I activate the Izuna to attempt to... not the Izuna, the Ripper to attempt to search. Just to see if this prompts any kind of response here. So he does chain the Imperm because now it's not untargetable because the Lupus was just detached. So that means the other back row is the inclusion. Not the inclusion, the Cluster. So knowing that he has a Jokul in hand, and that his set face down is Cluster, I know basically I have all the information about what his hand, about what he has. So this is going to be quite an easy field to break. So like the emergency comes down. I grab Naxta just because I don't want to fall victim to any kind of turn-ending play. So I activate the Naxta, discarding the core. So he chooses to Quick Xyz here. I chained the Ghost Ogre though, so this will stop it because the Lupus has to exceed summon using itself. So if it's hit with the Ogre, then it will be it will resolve without effect. So the Naxta goes the Naxta resolves to special summon. So now here he basically has to chain the cluster, so upon reading it, I realise it doesn't just shuffle back from graveyard or it doesn't just shuffle back from banished. It also shuffles from graveyard, so I can chain Bell to it to negate the activation. So we're just talking through it here and how it works because Bell does have some. There are some situations where Bell can't be activated depending on what the card is doing with the graveyard. But yeah, so Bell will resolve here. So now I'll contact fuse his Eleskeletus for Fortress Dragon. So now here I'm kind of pondering what my plays are, and he's pondering what his plays are. And a core hits the field, and I think at this point he scoops it up because he knows what this entails, and he knows that his field is not up to that. So we go very quick concession. We go to game 2. So I sided for going second because I thought that's what he would make me do, but he chooses to make me start. This is not an ideal hand for me. I've bricked, so I chain the Fool Loss. Well, I activate the Fool Loss here just in case. I summon Naxta, link immediately into Clockwork Knight, drop Regulus to attach the Naxta, and that is basically the end of my turn. It's a very weak board. The rest of my hand is going second cards, none of which he's activated. So I think about what I'm going to do here, but I think I just set a Lightning Storm and pass the turn. Although this is a real Hail Mary, he knows that the fact that I was pondering for so long about whether to set it or not, he knows it's not anything. So immediately he fires the Imperm off. That means the Regulus will be negated and it will lose its ability to have an equip card. So it's basically just a 28 beat stick at this point. He activates another Imperm. I don't know if that actually works or not, but yeah. He can target the Clockwork Knight anyway. So Inclusion comes down. Grabbing him, it'll probably be the Sulfador again. Yeah, it's the Sulfador. So he will probably activate the Sulfador targeting the Inclusion. No, he activates Jokel, revealing itself in Sulfador. He then uses the Jokel. No, he uses the Sulfador to send Smyger, and it'll be the Sulfifnir again. The card's out of view, but I think that was the Sulfifnir. He uses the Jokel to add Lantern. He activates the Smyger to add another Inclusion. Based on the colour, that might have actually... No, it was the Tristeros that he sent. So he overlays those two for Ripper. He activates Ripper to add. So I believe he just gets a case for Canine here. He drops Lantern to summon back the Jokel. He uses the Lantern to search for the Quick Play spell. And I think at this point he overlays these two for... he might not overlay at all. He activates these Sulfifnir, discarding the Inclusion, then destroys itself, which will allow him to summon another Sulfador. So he banishes the Inclusion to summon back the Sulfifnir. This will allow him to summon Infinity. So he goes for Nova, he goes for Infinity. He uses the effect to... he will use the effect to try and take the Regulus, and obviously the Regulus is negated. I can attempt to take it off the board just to prevent it from being material, but it's not going to do anything here. He overlays for River Storm, and that allows him to grab Scrap Recycler. So he normals the Scrap Recycler and sends the another Sulfador. Because Sulfador hasn't actually used its effect to summon itself yet, he uses it on his inclusion to special summon it from the graveyard, activates Case for K9, and yeah, that's the game. So another quick game here. It was very much decided from the jump. So with that we go into the all-important game 3. So this time I opt to make him start, hoping that the go second cards that I've sided in are in my hand, and well, beggars belief they're not. So he's just going to go full combo unimpeded, starting with the Joker for the Sulfador. The Sulfador will send the Sulfifnir and the Thistburn. The Thistburn will grab him the Smyger probably. He'll probably discard the Smyger shortly for the Sulfifnir, but he adds the Lantern with the Joker. He makes Ripper, discard, detaches to search for Case, activates Case, probably grabbing the Izuna. Yep. So then he's going to probably activate the Joker, activate the Lantern, targeting the Joker, activate that Lantern, search the Quick Play. He'll overlay these two for probably Nash Knight, I believe, or Valon, one of the two. Yeah, so he makes Valon here. So then he discards the Smyger for the Sulfifnir, which then destroys itself, and then allows him to summon Tristeros from deck. He activates the Inclusion here, which will grab him a new Sulfador. The Sulfador will use its effect, destroy the Inclusion to summon itself, and then he'll Synchro for Eleskeletus, which will get him back the Thistburn. He'll banish the Tristeros and destroy the Eleskeletus to summon a Sulfifnir from deck and a Tristeros. So he's just reading Tristeros himself, just to confirm. I think it was about whether it was once per turn on the special and synchro. So he overlays the Sulfador and Sulfifnir for Nova and Infinity. And already this is quite a strong board, but he can banish the Inclusion to summon back the Sulfifnir, synchro for a Dawn Dragster, and then banish the Smyger for a Cluster. So this is a tough board, especially since three of his monsters are in defense mode. So those Lightning Storms I have in the side deck aren't going to do much, and he sets a lot of back row. So I drew it into the Fualos, which, I mean, obviously that's not going to do anything now, is it? Would have been nice to have drawn that in my opening hand, but I didn't. So now I'm kind of just pondering what to do here, because this is a really tough board to crack, and he doesn't really have anything that's... he learned from the previous week not to put anything in the extra monster zone, and didn't forget that this time, so there's no way I can just take the Infinity off board that easily. So I start with Case, he lets it through. I add the Joker. So now that he's let that through, I'm kind of pondering again what to do, because I was hoping that was going to get negated, but well, the bait cards never get negated. So I do have a Lightning Storm in hand here, but there's already an Omni Negate and a Spell Trap Negate. So first I have to kind of get through those two cards. So I Normal Core. He obviously does have to stop this from resolving, so he droplets it. So I can't Contact Fuse the Dawn Dragster and the Infinity away, so I just link it for Clockwork Knight to attempt to use its effect, sending the Case. That gets negated by Infinity. So now the Lightning Storm comes down, but he still has a Spell Trap Negate, so it doesn't matter. And there's nothing I could there was no other spell trap I could use to bait that out either. So I attempt to use Regulus to special summon itself and equipping the core, but that gets negated by Ripper. And yeah, you can see the rest of my hand. It's a bell that I couldn't use because the Ripper came down. So yeah, that is you can see what my hand consisted of there, and it was pretty dire. So I end up losing this one, even though Crystron is typically a matchup that is well favored for me. Bricking is still a thing. There are a lot of one-offs in the deck. This is definitely something of a frustration for me, and something I am gonna try to fix going forward because it is definitely bothering me by this point. Anyway, on to round 2. So I got the bye in between rounds 1 and 3. So this is round 3. So this will be a shorter video today. So I'm up against the new Gem Knight stuff. So I'm just going through the standard combo here, completely uninterrupted at the moment. Although I believe he will have a Charmy for me at some point. It'll be the Meows I think he drew. So he's just making sure that he understands what the cards do. And at this point, I think I start doing the K9 stuff first. So I summon to Genius's Zone so I can get the Dizzablaster out. I forget the Izuna here, but there's no excuse for forgetting. I simply forgot. And so the Meows comes down. I grab the Lantern with the Jokel. I overlay for Ripper. A little late for that Malcharmy, but so I grab the Case for K9 and then set because he activated a monster effect from hand. I didn't forget this time. Instead, I just forgot the Izuna. And then I grab the Ripper, I activate Case and grab the Lupus, which I should have sent with the Izuna. But there was nothing else really to grab at this point. I think I have another Izuna in hand, so it doesn't matter that much. So I do summon here the Worm, which will net him a draw. I send the core, and I grab the Realm back. The Clockwork Knight grabs the Regulus. So I put the Regulus on the board here as well, just to wall up against any hand traps he might draw from the following plays. Power 1 comes down to banish the 2 cores to summon the Rampage. The Rampage will send some cards, some monsters from deck to grave. Yeah, so it'll be the core in the next turn. And I'll grab the Cyber Dragon from deck. This will put. This is usually so that I can get Jokel online, but Jokel is already online. Jokel has already been used, so I just overlay for the Nova. I'm debating here whether I want the Hertz back, but I do decide it's important. And whatever I'm ending on should hopefully be enough. I dropped the Dizzablaster here and then also special summon the Lupus from hand, so he's just reading the Dizzablaster. It's not a card you see every day. So I'm just kind of explaining what it does. And then, yeah, the Lupus is summoned here as well. He does drop the Beryllia, it's a bit late. I debate on whether to negate, and I do. Just to make sure he doesn't get another draw. I make an Action Knight, and I believe that is the end of the turn, because the forced release is already set. So the one thing I missed out on here was the ability to make SP. I couldn't. So here he drops the Shadow Fusion immediately, and I negate the effect with Regulus. That means that if he has a second one, he's not going to be able to drop it. So now he's kind of pondering what his next play is after this. He was remarking here about how the Shadow Fusion never resolved, because it's ashable and also it's very negatable. He drops the, I believe that's the Nephilim, the one that's supposed to turn into Shoal Construct. I detach to negate the activation and destroy. Not knowing much about what the new Gem Knights do, so hoping that the normal summon is a very important piece. So he drops one of another new card here. I believe that is the Gemnite Dispersion, so that allows him to add a Gemnite monster from deck or banishment to hand. So I could technically bell this if I had the bell in hand. So I'm just reading some cards. He's just deciding what he wants to do. The Dispersion also allows him to fusion summon a Gemnite monster using monsters from the hand or field, or up to 2 from deck or extra deck if they are non-rock Gemnite monsters and you have Gemnite Fusion in the grave. So he's going to add, I believe that's a Quartz. So I'm just reading what that does, and he knows that the Quartz is very much bait for Ripper. So he drops Protoss here, and I know that cannot resolve. So immediately I shotgun that with the Nash Knight. Just reading what it does for myself, just to make sure that he can't like drop another one, but he definitely could. He summons Flag here, but I'm hoping. I believe I let this resolve hoping that he just doesn't have another Protoss to drop. So I allow this through. I do drop a Izuna though, and then chain a Lupus, and he picks it up here. So we're going to game 2. Alright, so he makes me start. This was expected because Gemini is a going second deck. So I didn't actually make a huge amount of sides. So I open with Emergency, so I'm going through the standard motions here. He does have 2 Mulch Armies to drop, as you probably caught a glimpse in the opening hand. So he's waiting to drop them. So he activates Meows here, and also drops Full Loss here before I've gone into the deck or graveyard to summon stuff. So now I'm kind of pondering what to do, because face down with 2 Mulch Armies, I can either play into them and risk giving him more than enough ammunition to just destroy me, or I can pass and he'll probably destroy me anyway because it's a going second deck. So I do make the Clockwork Knight, sending the realm to grab Clockwork Knight. If I knew more about the Gemnite monsters, maybe I could determine whether the types mattered that much, but from what I saw, they didn't matter a huge amount. So now I'm kind of determining whether I just make SP here or continue doing the actual combo. So I'm just weighing up my options, because I know that the double Mulch Armies are just, no matter what play I do, those are going to give him a huge amount of plays for his turn. I banished the Meows with the SP. I don't think it matters which one, but because it's Earth, I decided I thought that might have been the better option. So I activate Clockwork Knight, discarding the Hertz to search the Regulus. The Hertz will grab me the Cyber Dragon. And obviously the Regulus is a good one because it's from the one area that the Mulch Armies aren't covering, which is the hand. So I summon it and attach the Hertz to make sure that I can get some follow-up for the next turn. And I drop the Izuna here as well, because this is also another case of not playing into the 2 Charmies that are in play. Although the Lupus being in play means that I can either summon it here and give him a draw, or so I do, or I could not give him the draw and hope that next turn he has a hand effect. So I summon it and don't do anything with it that turn, because it is the Quick Exceed, so I can choose not to play into the Full Loss here and use it more interruptively. So, Lightning Storm. I have to negate that. And I'm deciding whether I want to Quick Exceed here as well, but I choose to just let that go, grab the core back with the Hertz. So he summons Gem Armadillo here. This will allow him to search for any gem monster, I believe. Any Gemnite monster, should I say. So, unfortunately this is just going to resolve, because I don't really have anything to stop this. So I'm just reading Quartz again. it is a hand effect. So at this point, I'm trying to think about whether I want to. So I do quick exceeds into Ripper here, because he's just dropped a hand effect. So now the dispersion comes down. He's going to add the. It's one of the new ones. He's going to add Hollow Core here, which is basically Mathmech Circular, but for Gem Knights. It's one of the themes of Legacy support nowadays, is every deck gets a Circular. So I'm just reading it because there's a lot of text on it. So he's going to attempt to activate that, sending the... he has to send a Gem Knight Fusion or a normal monster. I let it through because I determined the Quartz is more important to negate. But he makes Phantom Quartz, which is going to net him a new search. I do opt to Ogre it just to stop it from being on the field, so he can't use this effective fusion summon. I don't know if this was the correct play or not. He sales bans the Ripper. Don't know why he waited until now for that, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do to stop that. So the Ripper is now offline, so he can proceed with the Quartz plays as well. So he activates Dispersion again, this time to Fusion Summon. So he's going to send the Nephilim and a Quartz from deck to grave. And I didn't realise Gem Knight Fusion was in the graveyard because he's using the alt art, and that's one that I don't recognise. I'm very much used to the old art of Gem Knight Fusion. So that was my bad for not spotting that, but I don't think there would have been anything I could have done to stop it. So I think that's Seraphonite. No, I wouldn't be reading it if it was Seraphonite. I think it's Lady Brilliant Diamond, based on what I can see here. So I choose to drop the SP here, but I think I'm changing the SP here. But the Hollow Core in the graveyard, I believe, can negate it. So yeah, no. So he changed it. No, it's not the Brilliant Diamond. It is the Lady Rose Diamond. So it has a quick effect to pop the SP, and SP has to banish both targets. So it won't be banished because the SP has been destroyed. So he summons the Nephilim, adds the, I think that's Shatter Fusion? Scatter Fusion. He drops Brilliant Fusion as well. He just adds all of the fusion cards. So he sends these, and now I believe he goes for Lady Brilliant Diamond. No, it's the Gem Knight Master Diamond of Dispersion. So this one's really strong because, I mean, it can tribute itself and just summon 3 non-rock Gem Knight monsters from the extra deck, or graveyard with different names. It will lock him into fusion summoning though, into fusions from the extra deck, so he won't be able to make Phantom Quartz after this. One of the things that I remarked on, and he completely ignored, and he ignored here, but I did remind him he is locked into fusions from this point forward, so he can't make another Quartz, another Phantom Quartz. But yeah, so this is more than enough for game here. I can't remember quite what all these cards do because a lot of them are very old, and haven't been summoned in a long time. But I believe one of them tributed another to boost attack and can attack twice. Yeah, so the Gem Knight Ruby was the one that tributed, and then it gains attack, and then it can do piercing. So yeah, that's more than enough for game. So we go to game 3. So I make him start, he drops Meows. It's okay, nothing's going to be summoned from the graveyard, most likely. He calls Salesman. I can't remember what he calls here. I think it might have been Izuna or Ash. Or it might have been Imperm, I can't remember. But he drops the Nephilim here to grab the Dispersion. So the Dispersion comes down to search for the Hollow Core. So I do drop Izuna here, so he didn't call it with the Sales Ban. So I send the Lupus. That will give him a draw off of the Meows, and I'll Quick Exceed into Ripper again. So the Hollow Core is dropped here. I choose to negate it this time. I kind of knew he had the Quartz already, so he drops the Quartz. Unfortunately, having two hand effects means that Ripper can only negate one of those. So he drops Brilliant Fusion here, and so he's going to go for the which one is that he's going to go for? I think he tries to make the it's the Dispersion again. So he links before using those. He summons the Phantom Quartz again. So he uses the effects to add, but he's also going to use the effect to pay 1,000 to fusion summon at some point during the turn. So first he uses the Dispersion. So he summons the Ruby, the Topaz, and the Aquamarine. Then he's going to activate Shatter. He's going to activate the Dispersion again to fusion summon. And so he's going to make the Lady Brilliant Diamond. And he's then going to pay a K for the Phantom Quartz, which is, and this was a very funny moment because we were quite close to time. I saw the pay 1,000. I read it out, and then everyone who was crowding around us because we were the last to finish immediately went and looked at the clock. So he summons the Lady Rose Diamond here. We both didn't catch that the Lady Brilliant Diamond can only be activated during the player turn. During his own turn. So there is a bit of a misplay here. But anyway, so the path is clear here. So I put Disblast, from what we both interpreted, the Brilliant Diamond, he activates the Brilliant Diamond, but I've put the Disblaster in its column. So he attempted to activate it, but I told him to read Disblaster. So the Realm came down here to add the Chimera, and he doesn't really have anything in the way of interruption anymore. So the Clockwork Knight comes down here, sending the Realm, adding and sending the Worm. So I get Clockwork Knight, I summon back the Worm to get sending Hurts and adding back the Realm, getting the Cyber Dragon. I summon back the Chimera, discarding a Lightning Storm that's pretty useless here to add Power Bond. The Power Bond comes down. I wish I'd been able to Contact Fuse the board first, but the plays kind of didn't align for it. And I choose to destroy the Brilliant Fusion with the Rampage. I can't remember if something was connected to the Brilliant Fusion on the field. If it was, then it should have just been destroyed, I believe. Anyway, so I drop Jokul and Izuna here, and I add the Lantern from deck to hand. Anyway, so I've been carelessly playing into Nibiru this whole time because I was so confident I had game. So he drops the Nibiru here. It's going to be a big token, but he has, I believe the Aquamarine can get rid of the token. Yeah, so when sent from the field to the grave, you can target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So I don't have a big token here. Anyway, He's paid 1,000, and I was about to end the main phase, so I can continue the main phase and basically continue playing until time is called. I also made a mistake here because I forget that Lantern has to target a monster with a level. It can't target a Xyz monster. But anyway, so I can continue playing here until time is called, which will be very shortly. So he kind of just scoops it up. So yeah, it's definitely not an honourable way to win. I'm not happy with the way that I won here, but since the time rules the new time rules hadn't been implemented yet, obviously the new time rules will prevent this from being a thing, although there's definitely a lot of mixed feelings about those at the moment. So only time will tell how those new time rules will affect the game, and hopefully won't affect the game negatively. But anyway, so I got second place at this locals, and honestly undeserved. I got the bye round 2, so I didn't really fight for that second place. But anyway, so here's the deck list. As you can see, I've made some changes. The droplets have been relegated to the side deck in favour of putting Nibiru back in. I felt that Nibiru would be good against the meta, since not a lot outside of K9 seems to be playing around it at the moment, so it doesn't seem like it's a respected card. Unfortunately, my theory couldn't be put to the test because I never drew the card, so I don't know if I'll keep it in the main to continue testing that theory, but so I'll have to make up my mind about that before the next locals. The droplet in the side, I didn't miss it from the main that much. The main problem was just the horrible brick game 2 against K9 Crystron. And as I said earlier, the number of one-ofs in this deck is quite ridiculous, and now I'm at a point where I kind of want to start doing something about it. I'll be thinking about how I can reduce that. The recycler might have to go just because it is there to bridge the K9 side into the Cyber Dragon side, but it doesn't necessarily need to bridge into the Cyber Dragon side. We'll see about that. It is kind of a Hail Mary throw. But yeah, so let me know. As always, I hope to get some good feedback on the way I present these duels. Let me know if you guys want me to do anything differently about this, or if you have any feedback about the deck list or my plays. I am always open to constructive feedback, because I know that I'm not the best player ever. Far from it. So, yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I shall see you guys next time.